G'day all, welcome back to the Sea King build. The bench is very messy at present. I've put this thing down about 2 days ago just to give myself a bit of a rest, because I've been going virtual flat tack on it every day for about a week now. Okay, as you can see, she's on wheels. The undercarriage is on. Let's see now, what have I done? I basically stopped work on the port side, I think it is. There's nothing new there. I have put on the undercarriage pods and scratch built them all. Now, get that light out of the way of it. As you can, it's not coming through too clearly on the camera. Oh, goody. I went through. I'll throw in a still shot I took as I was taking the as I was making the parts. This undercarriage, except for the wheels themselves, are totally scratch built. What I had to deal with before in the way of parts was this little piece here, and it was actually it's all my light sources causing the problem, I think. Yeah, change your light source. Okay. So as you can see here, the part is fairly basic. It's a close representation of the actual undercarriage on the Sea King, but not close enough. So the undercarriage now consists of say about a dozen parts each. I just noticed something. The alignment of one wheel is out, and that means the other wheel will be out as well. Oh well, never mind. Okay, anyway, moving on. So the undercarriage is built. I have put the cargo wire in, and I was trying to find out what the hook actually looks like. Let's see if I can get a bit closer without my light source destroying everything again. You can see the hook there in the middle. It's folded over because the way it's mounted on the actual aircraft is the cables are loose, and they use a wire coming down from either side, I believe, to raise and lower the hook when required. That's why it looks folded there at present. So I've still got to scratch build the wire that holds that all together. But the hook there is actually called a screw. S-A-C-R-U is what it's referred to as. I did a bit of searching on the internet, thanks to the guys out at Hyperscale who pointed me in the right direction. I couldn't find any decent photos of the underside of the Sea King to see what the hook looks like, but one guy said it's called a screw. So I searched on the internet, found the website that actually, the company that actually makes the screw. There's a whole lot of different hooks they make for different helicopters. So that was helpful, and all that is now is a couple of pieces of plastic card glued together to create the profile, and the hook itself is just a piece of wire turned, and I think it looks a bit crap, but it's the best I can do with the scale. Once again, it's underneath, so no one's going to really look at it. If someone does, it might look a bit over scale, it might not. I'll see how it goes when I come to painting it. Glued on the aerials at the back. So there is 3 kit aerials. I don't believe they go where I put them, but I've modified them to go there. They are the correct look for those type of aerials. It's these 3 here. This one here is just a bit of plastic rod, cut the length and glued in place. This blade antenna here was too thick, so I've had to shave it down to size using my little handy grinder tool. I've put on some lifting hooks. They're glued into place. Lifting hooks, as usual, a bit of fun to make. And that's about it. Now, as you can see, there's a bit more putty being applied to areas. I've been going, every time I pick this thing up and look at it, I find some puttying flaw that I've had before and I have to come back to fix up again. So I'm hoping that I'm coming to the end of finding those flaws and just moving on to hopefully prime it shortly. I've got a few extra things to do. I've got to replicate this detail here on the opposite side. There's another antenna that has to go here somewhere. We'll do the wires, more wiring on this side. So I'm in the home stretch for completing it. These wooden bases here you see in front of me, I'm trying to figure out how best to display this, whether just have it as a free model that can go anywhere or put it on its own little display. I feel a display is in order, but at this stage I'm just playing at present. Alright, next headache. I just found a mistake. The rear propeller is just dry fit at present. I've just been playing around with it and I looked at it and found a bit of a problem. So the propeller is, the rear propeller is rudimentary. I don't think there's going to be much in the way of detail being added to it. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention this plastic strip here. That's 2 pieces of plastic card. Just cut the correct height, or this, what I think is the correct height, and glued on there. So that's about it. So that propeller isn't going to have much done to it. The next headache is the main rotor blades. Now, I'm just dry fitting one here. This is the kit supplied rotor blades. Now, the biggest problem I can find in here is this part here is too long. Which also means, if I can fit this without ruining everything, dry fit. Okay, this blade is probably a bit too long. From what I've seen in the photos, it needs to come back probably just in line with this part here, so I could come back a bit. But all photos I've seen of the blades, on the main rotor blades, that is too long in this area here. So I've got to cut that down. The profile is wrong, and we have a look at this sideways. Hopefully you can see it in the camera. As you can see, there is a bit of a flex in it, and all 5 blades have a similar problem with the flex in it. So my plan here for the blades is to, and also rather flimsy as well. Can you see it on this one? Yes, there it is. That line going through here, that's actually a break. I had to repair it and glue it back together again with a bit of liquid cement. So, because they're flimsy, I've been thinking of ways of improving it. I think the profile is wrong. I think there might be a bit more bulge I can put to it. So my thinking here is to get out a Dremel tool or something like that and cut right along somewhere in the middle on each blade and fill it with, where is it? Now I can't find it. No, that's the piece. Fill it with this this type of strip of plastic, evergreen plastic. I'm hoping if I put it lengthwise instead of sideways, that it will add some rigidity to the blade, and also straighten it up a bit. It will also help to add some, actually I'll put it that way. So I'll have it that way, the main blade like that, if you like. And that will help me give it some more height to the blade. I'm feeling that this thickness is the right size for that type of blade, so I'm going to try it and see what happens. The main work will be to shorten this, reprofile it, because it is it's like an aircraft propeller, so it does curve in nicely, and it is shorter. I'm even thinking of detaching from the base of, also the end of the blade here, all the way back to just short of the plastic joint for going onto the main rotor itself. Oh, that's right, I haven't trimmed. I haven't cleaned all these up. I've only trimmed some of them up. So that one looks like it's cleaned up a bit. Not that one. That one, here we go. So I've got this distance here to shorten, resculpt. Then I'll probably be adding some wiring detail to the main rotor assembly, and believe it or not, one kit part I will not be modifying, except for maybe to clean it up. This is the dome that goes on top of the rotor blade, so it goes up there, and I will not be modifying it. So I'll just clean that up, put it on top, and it should be okay. Other than that, there's not much to do. I've been looking at these parts and slowly going further and further. Oh, that's what I'm doing. I have a bit of a headache. Now, I'm not talking about sickness. Is it there? It looks like it there. Okay. This here, if you bring it in closer, this here is the clear transparency that goes into one of those holes. So you see it here. In photos I've seen, I haven't finished this part yet. There's another plastic strip that goes across here. I've got the other side to go yet. But these holes here are for lights, and the lights stick up a bit on the inside. Probably stick up about this high. Think of it as a spray rattle can, if you like, sitting there. That's the way it is. I thought I'd get some 1.5 acrylic rod, 1.5 mil, but it is too small. My local hobby shop that I've been getting all my supplies from doesn't have much in the way of acrylic rod, so that's too small. And then where's my 3 mil? I've got a 3 mil piece here, which is, you guessed it, it's too big. I can't put it in there. So my headache I've got to do here is I'm going to get the Dremel out and turn it into a mini lathe and cut this to shape to fit into those holes, trying to finish up the cover. That's the cover for the nose. So that will be displayed open on the finished model. What else? I think that's about it. Oh yes, I haven't decided what to do there yet. Oops. There's two areas I was going to put mesh. One in front of the rotor blade assembly, and another one either side of the engine housing. I haven't decided what I'm doing there yet, so stand by for a bit of grief over there. I'm most likely going to be breaking all the nice fine work I put on the sides of the model, which could be heart shattering, but never mind. I have actually, these are transparencies I had originally made up for filling in the side windows. This is for the right hand side, and they are thinner again. I had to thin them down because they were sticking out too far on the original fit that I tried weeks ago. This part here is going to be a bit different. It'll fit to go into the hole onto the left side, and I will have to fill around it with putty to hide the gap, because there is a significant gap around it. I'm waiting on some Humbrol gloss coat, clear gloss coat that I saw recently released by Humbrol, to help improve all my transparencies. When it arrives, I might do a bit of a build review or a show and tell, if you like, of me using it on the transparencies. And I'm hoping it will fix up the cloudiness that you see in the transparency. That's actually quite good compared to how it looked ages ago. And that's about it. So I will now get back into it and see what I can do. So I'll catch you shortly. Bye.